ERC, quality service since 1972, repairing TVs, console stereos, electronic musical instruments, pinball machines, arcade games, and more. Call 836-0454.
This is the morning edition of the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Tuesday, the 9th day of September. James Spann here in the weather office. It looks more and more like Ike is headed for Texas. And around here, a soupy, moist air mass is setting up shop for a while. Let's peek at some Skycam shots around the state this morning coming from the Skycam network. First off, the view from Gadsden. Got some fog over the city there. They had some pretty good rain there. In fact, our Skywatcher up at Nakalula Falls reports over 1 inch of rain. How about that? Also pretty windy up there. The Skycam had a peak wind gust of 46 miles per hour yesterday afternoon as the storms approached. Down to the south, had some good rain at that site. That's the Clanton City Hall down in Chilton County, over 1 inch there. And Birmingham, not much. In fact, barely enough to measure there. That's the downtown view on top of the Daniel Building looking south. On the water vapor satellite imagery, a nice trough north of here. That's pushing a surface boundary down this way. And, of course, Ike over Cuba. Here's expected rain around the country for the next 5 days. This valid through Saturday evening at 7 o'clock, and this is suggesting really rainfall amounts of only about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch here. I bet you somebody's going to see a lot more than that. We had more than that yesterday in spots. Good rains there from West Texas up to Chicago, and, of course, Ike coming into the Texas coast, and also over 1 inch of rain on the eastern part of the country. Very kind of a soggy pattern for much of the nation except for the far west. The tropics are calming down. It sure seems like this latest pulse is over. It looks like once we get Ike into Texas or wherever it winds up, that'll be it for a while. And, you know, that might be it for the season. And inevitably, there could be a late season system out there in October, but I think the big mid-season pulse is winding down. Here's Ike. You can see the circulation center is still kind of hugging the south coast of Cuba this morning. Ike is at this point a Category 1 with sustained winds of 80 miles per hour. Modeling shifting south. Continues the southward shift. Now, the Clipper, the one that comes up toward New Orleans, that's a statistical model. That's based on previous hurricanes. That's not a dynamic model, so just kind of throw that one out because Ike has certainly not behaved based on climatology. But notice now the best blend of the models takes the thing down into South Texas. The Hurricane Center shifting their track south as well, down there towards South Padre Island. And, you know, Ike has just wanted to take the southern route all along. But certainly our friends in New Orleans are breathing easier. The cone of uncertainty does extend as far north as Galveston. But again, all of Louisiana is out of that cone right now, which is good news for them. And boy, this thing could be pretty strong. The GFDL ramps this thing up to 121 knots. And that's the 950 millibar wind, and the surface pressure is going to be lower than that. That's a whopper of a storm. That's a 4 or 5 type storm. They're coming into South Padre Island. Brownsville, Harlingen, McAllen, that looks just horrible for those folks if this intensity is right. And the wharf, by golly, is even stronger. It's got the thing down to, 908 millibars on the approach, and that's coming in closer to Corpus Christi. So, goodness, everybody down there in South Texas now, they're on alert as our friends in New Orleans and Louisiana kind of goes off alert. We'll look at the GFS. This is where we are at 1 o'clock today. We've got, you can see one trough bypassing us to the north. It's moving over toward New England. Another one coming down into the northwestern states. And, of course, Ike is down there on the western tip of Cuba. But in advance of that surface front from the low that's over New England, you can see a pretty soupy air mass. So, again, today we'll have scattered showers and storms around. And really, tomorrow it's the same deal. The front kind of stalls out north of here. So, scattered showers and storms. Thursday, the front goes nowhere. The air stays soupy. Ike is down there in the far south, well to the south. And Friday, still a fairly moist air mass, although it looks like the showers might thin out just a bit. We'll still mention scattered showers and storms. And Ike on Friday on the GFS is actually heading down there toward Mexico. And, you know, by golly, based on the history of this thing, with, you know, it's been trending farther south and south and south, it might wind up in Mexico. And then Saturday, starting off the weekend, note how we dry out. We have showers thinning out in the forecast. That looks pretty good. We won't go totally dry right now. Ike is over Mexico, down there south of the Rio Grande. How about that? And then Sunday, we'll go back to the upper levels. We've still got ridging here. It's the battle between ridging over the deep south and a strong trough. A good cool season trough there over the Great Lakes. Down below that, the surface front is north of here, and that still looks like Sunday would be generally dry. The moisture with Ike is just so far south, it might try and get up and get entrained in that front, but we'll just have to wait and see. And then Monday of next week, the front just vanishes off the map. We stay dry. High pressure kind of settles into Oklahoma, keeping the moisture from Ike over Texas and Mexico and New Mexico. And Tuesday of next week looks dry. So, the thought of moisture from Ike curving up through Texas and then curving up in here on this run is off the table, but that's just one model run. As you know, we've not had good luck at forecasting Ike 4 and 5 days in advance, so we'll just have to wait and see. Quick peek at the end of the cycle. This is the 24th. That is showing a ridge still over the Gulf Coast, a 588 circle down there. We really need to get rid of that thing to get some cool air down here. Good-looking negative shortwave, negative tilt shortwave up north, and sooner or later we'll catch that cold air. But again, as we've looked at the last several model runs, we have seen no strong evidence of any of that cool air reaching us. But don't worry, it'll get here soon enough. This is September, That's it for the Weather Xtreme video this morning. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by 3:30 today. And, of course, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 News at 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Again, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.